Alrighty, guys, I'm feeling really good on a Tuesday morning, better than usual, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in just a moment. But before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to the video here today for Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And once again, guys, I'm feeling really good here today because I'm coming fresh off a perfect 4-0 day in my personal bets yesterday. That's also going to improve our record to 3-0 in our last three Major League Baseball tier package bets on that website. And the good news is, guys, even more good news, we have another Major League Baseball tier package bet going off here today. And the link for that play is in the description section below. Now, guys, I have a bunch of different memberships on that site, and that includes my $1.99 daily best play, which only costs just $1.99. Now, guys, I also have over 560 members who are signed up and active on that page right now. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on my website is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and get into some free content. We're going to take a look at the White Sox squaring off against the Royals Game 1. That's going to be a 4:10 Eastern first pitch. Now, this game's currently off the board. Lance Lynn for Chicago. No confirmed starter yet here for KC. And even though Lynn struggled in several starts for the White Sox, strikeouts are still up this year for the righty. He's punched out 57 batters in just 53-plus innings. Meanwhile, as a team, the White Sox won 6 out of their last 9. And they're doing an exceptional job getting on base. They're currently in the top 5 in team batting average. Of course, Tim Anderson, he's got a team-best .301 batting average at the dish. Meanwhile, Luis Robert, he's the club leader in RBI. Now, they're taking on a Royals team who's got a losing record at home, and they struggle hitting the long ball. These guys are in the bottom 5 in home runs per contest. They're also scoring fewer runs a game than most clubs in the American League. I'm going to lean towards Chicago winning that game outright, Game 1, for some money line cash. Next ball game, it is going to be Blue Jays taking on the Orioles, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Now, Toronto's minus 175 with the total at 8.5. Alek Manoah for Toronto, Kyle Bradish for Baltimore. And even though Bradish has stunk for most of his starts, he does have an uncanny ability to strike batters out. He's actually averaging over a strikeout an inning. Now, the O's have also won 6 out of their last 7 ball games, and they average just about 6 runs a game in those victories. Anthony Santander, he's leading the team in homers and RBI. He's in the top 25 in baseball in that runs batted in category. And even though the O's have to face Alek Manoah here today, well, the Blue Jays really haven't been playing great team baseball. These guys dropped 4 out of their last 6. And they actually have a losing record away from home. And when it comes to divisional play in this one, the Jays are playing just .500 baseball on the road this year. Now, total-wise, the Blue Jays are 11-7 to the under in their divisional road games. They also saw 4 out of their last 6 Alek Manoah starts fall under the line. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Baltimore plus 1.5 and the under 8.5. Next ball game, Marlins Philly, 7:05 East. Philadelphia is the $2.30 favorite, total 7.5. Zach Wheeler for Philadelphia, Braxton Garrett for Miami. Now, out of 58 innings of work, Garrett's gotten the W only twice. He comes into today's start with a 2-5 record. Meanwhile, as a team, the Marlins dropped 7 out of their last 9, and they averaged only 1.4 runs a game in those losses. And that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise. This Miami lineup is in the bottom 5 in the league in OPS at the dish. Now they're taking on Zach Wheeler here today, who's been fairly dominant this season. The righty's 10-5 with an ERA in the twos. He's also got 129 strikeouts and a 1.01 whip. Now, the Red Hot Phils are also on a 5-game winning streak, and they posted a record of 10-1 straight up in their last 11. Kyle Schwarber is the NL leader in home runs with 34 of them. Meanwhile, Alec Boehm has the highest qualifying batting average in the lineup here tonight. When it comes to the total, the Fightins did see their last 4 straight at Citizens Bank Park get over the line. They're also 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. I'm going to lean toward Philadelphia -1.5 and the over 7 and a hook. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Reds-Mets, 7:10 p.m. East. The New York Mets are the $3 favorite. Total's 8.5. Carlos Carrasco for New York, Mike Minor for Cincinnati. Now, Minor comes into today's game with a 1-8 record and an ERA in the 6s. Meanwhile, as a team, the Reds are 20 games below 500 right now, and they strike out an awful lot at the dish. These guys are actually in the bottom 5 in strikeouts per game. They're taking on Carlos Carrasco here today on the other side of things, who's actually struck out 114 batters this year himself. Now, the righty's also 12-4 with an ERA in the 3s. Meanwhile, as a team, the Mets won their last 4 straight, and they actually posted a record of 13-2 straight up in their last 15. Pete Alonso leads the National League in RBI. He's knocked in 95 runners this season. He's also in the top 10 in the bigs in OPS. Meanwhile, Jeff McNeil's batting a team-best .304 at the plate. When it comes to the total in this one, 5 out of New York's last 6 contests in Flushing, Queens got over the line. The Mets are also 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, well, Cincinnati allowed nearly 5.5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with New York. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Mets -1.5 and the over 8.5 runs. Next ball game I have for you, a little AL Central action. I'm talking about the Guardians squaring off against the Tigers. 7:10 Eastern start time in Detroit. Now, Cleveland's the $1.90 favorite on the road. Total 7.5 runs. Shane Bieber for Cleveland, Tyler Alexander for Detroit. And even though Alexander's record isn't great, he's got a 1.23 whip and an ERA nearly in the 3s. When it comes to divisional play, well, believe it or not, the Tigers have a winning home record against the AL Central. Miggy Cabrera is leading the club in batting average. Meanwhile, Javi Baez, he has the most runs batted in on the team. Now, they're taking on Shane Bieber here today, who has just a 6-6 record this year, despite some really good outings. The Guardians have also been little threat hitting for power this year. These guys are actually second to last in the bigs in home runs. Now, when it comes to the number, oddly enough, 6 out of these teams' last 10 meetings did get over the line. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. Now, the Guardians also went 60% to the over in their last 10 outings themselves. I'm going to lean toward Detroit +1.5 and the over 7 and a hook. Next ball game, little interleague action. I'm talking about the Braves taking on the Bo Sox. 7:10 Eastern start time at Fenway. Atlanta's the $1.60 favorite on the road. Total's 9.5. Charlie Morton for Atlanta. Rich Hill for Boston. Now, the rich man is just 4-5 on the year with an ERA in the 4s. Boston also dropped 4 out of their last 5, and their pitching staff allowed 35 total runs during that time frame. Now, they're squaring off against a dangerous Braves lineup who leads the National League in homers. Austin Riley has a team-best 29 home runs, and he currently leads the club in batting average. Meanwhile, Matt Olson's 10th in the bigs with 70 RBI. And if for some reason the bats do end up going a little bit cold here today for Atlanta, well, teams have actually had a tough time hitting Charlie Morton this year. The righty's got 134 strikeouts in just 116-plus innings. He also comes into today's ball game with a 1.21 whip. Now, when it comes to scoring, the Braves' last 5 straight road games all got over the total. They're also 80% to the over in their all of their interleague games this year. I'm going to lean toward Atlanta minus 160 and the over 9.5. Next ball game, second of a doubleheader. I'm talking about the White Sox taking on the Royals, Game 2. That's going to be a 7:40 Eastern start time. Now, Game 2 is also off the board right now. Davis Martin possible for Chicago. Johnny Heasley for Kansas City. Now, Heasley's just 1-6 on the year with an ERA dangerously close to 6. Meanwhile, offensively, the Royals are scoring fewer runs per contest than most clubs in the American League. Now, they're taking on a Chicago team who went 6-3 in their last 9, and they have a winning record on the road. Meanwhile, pitching-wise, the Sox are in the top 5 in the league in striking batters out. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the White Sox winning Game 2 and completing the sweep, the doubleheader sweep, of course. All right, next contest, it is going to be Nats Cubbies, 8:05 East. Chicago's the $2 favorite at home, total 7.5. Marcus Stroman for Chicago, Paolo Espino for Washington. And out of 70-plus innings of work this year, Paolo Espino has yet to record a win. He's 0-4 with an ERA in the 4s. The Nats are also on a 6-game losing streak, and they have a tough time scoring runs. They're in the bottom 5 in scoring, bottom 3 in homers, and even if they, if the Mets struggle, Marcus Stroman, let's talk about him. He should be able to keep the Cubbies in the ball game here today if they struggle at the dish. Stroman's averaging nearly a strikeout an inning along with a 1.14 whip. Now, Chicago saw 7 out of their last 10 meetings with Washington get over the line. Meanwhile, the Nats saw their last 5 straight on the road get over the total themselves. My notes were all screwed up for that game, but the lean is not. I like the Cubs minus 1.5 and the over 7.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Rays Brewers set 8:10 p.m. East. Come on, Brad, let's go. Milwaukee's minus 165, totals 8 runs. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee. Jimmy Yacobanis possible for Tampa Bay. Now, I don't believe either pitcher are confirmed yet, so just keep an eye on that. But anyway, if Yacobanis does get the start here, Yak's got just 9 1/3 innings of work under his belt this year. Having said that, though, he did strike out 15 batters during that very short span. The Rays also won 4 out of their last 5 ball games, and they average over 5 runs a game in those victories. Yandy Diaz is the club leader in batting average. Meanwhile, Randy Arozarena leads the team in ribbies. Now they're taking on Freddie Peralta possibly here today, who's run into some trouble here this year. He comes into today's ball game with an ERA in the mid-4s. The Brewers have also dropped 6 out of their last 7, and they've had a tough time making contact with the baseball. These guys are actually in the bottom 10 in the bigs in strikeouts per 9 at the dish. When it comes to the total, Tampa Bay saw 4 out of their last 5 road games fall under the total. They're also 70% to the under in their last 10 at any location. I'm going to lean toward the Rays plus 1.5 and the under 8. Next game, Rangers Astros, 8:10 p.m. East. Houston's minus 185, totals 8 runs. Christian Javier for the Stros, Martin Perez for Texas. Now, Perez is having a great season here for the Rangers. He's 9-2 with an ERA in the 2s. Perez also has 116 strikeouts along with a 1.16 whip. When it comes to hitting the baseball, the Rangers do have a little pop in their bats. They're in the top 10 in homers, and they're led by Corey Seager, who's got a team-best 24 home runs. Meanwhile, Dallas Garcia is in the top 10 in RBI with 70 of them. Now, they're squaring off against a Houston club who lost their last 2 straight, and they scored just 1 total run in those losses. And when it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Astros failed to cover in 6 out of their last 10. Now, one of Houston's biggest problems this year is hitting at home. These guys are actually in the bottom 10 in home hits per game. When it comes to the numbers, 7 out of Houston's last 10 contests fell under the total. They're also 63% to the under in all of their games at Minute Maid Park. Meanwhile, Texas, on the other side of things, they are 15 and 11 to the under in their divisional road games. I'm going to lean toward the Rangers plus 1.5 and the under 8. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Cardinals-Rockies, 8:40 p.m. East. Now, St. Louis is minus 175 in the Mile High City. Totals 11 runs. Miles Mikolas for St. Louis. Ryan Feltner for Colorado. And even though Feltner stinks, he does do a nice job striking batters out. The Rockies are also still pounding the baseball at Coors Field. They're leading the league in home scoring and hits. Jose Iglesias is batting a team-best .312. Meanwhile, teammate C.J. Cron, he's leading the club in homers and RBI. His 74 ribbies this year are actually 7th in the league. Now he's facing Miles Mikolas here today on the other side of things, who's actually just 8-8 on the year despite throwing some really good outings. And even though the Cards are blazing hot right now, their pitching staff has a tough time ringing batters out, ringing batters up. They're actually in the bottom 3 in the league right now in strikeouts per 9 on the mound. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, Ryan Feltner for Colorado, he saw his last 3 straight starts get over the line. And as a matter of fact, the Rockies have gone 6-2 to the over in their last 8 Feltner starts this season. I'm going to lean toward Colorado plus 1.5 in the over 11. Next ball game I have for you, a little NL West action. I'm talking about the Giants squaring off against the Padres, 9:40 Eastern, first pitch at Petco Park. I'm going to lean toward, I'm not leaning toward anybody yet. San Diego is minus 175, total 7.5. Joe Musgrove for the Pods, Alex Cobb for San Francisco. Now, the Cobsters struck out 93 batters in just 88 plus. Meanwhile, as a team, the Giants won their last 3 straight, and that includes a 1-0 shutout over San Diego just last night. And speaking of the Pods on the other side of things, they're on a 5-game skid, and they averaged only 1.4 runs a game in those losses. When it comes to hitting for power, the Pods really don't do that well either. They're in the bottom 10 in homers, bottom 10 in OPS. And when it comes to the numbers, San Diego's 13-9 to the under against the NL West at home. Meanwhile, the Giants went 7-2 to the under in their last 9 Alex Cobb starts. I'm going to lean towards San Francisco plus 1.5 and the under 7.5 runs. Next game, Pirates D-backs, 9:40 p.m. East. Arizona's minus 160, totals 8.5. Tommy Henry for Arizona, Zach Thompson for Pittsburgh. Now, Zachy's just 3-8 on the year with an ERA in the 5s. The Pirates have also had a tough time winning on the road this year. They've got just a .357 win percentage when batting first. And their lineup's second to last in the league in team batting average. Now they're taking on an Arizona squad who won 3 out of their last 4. That includes a 3-0 shutout over the Buccos just last night. When it comes to hitting the baseball at Chase Field, the D-backs are actually in the top 10 in the league right now in home scoring. Now Christian Walker, he has a franchise best 26 home runs along with 61 RBI. He's actually 7th in the bigs in that home run category. Meanwhile, Ketel Marte has the highest qualifying batting average in the lineup here today. Now, when it comes to the total, Pittsburgh did go 60% to the over in their last 10 outings. They're also 3-0 to the over in their last 3 Zach Thompson starts. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Arizona minus 160 and the over 8.5 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Angels taking on the Athletics. That's going to be a 9:40 Eastern start time. The Angels are the $1.85 favorite, total 6.5. Shohei Ohtani for Los Angeles, James Caprillion for Oakland. And even though Cappy's shown some life here in his last handful of outings, he still has an ERA in the 4s and just 3 wins on the year. Now, he's also backed by an Oakland lineup who's arguably the worst in the league. They actually have the lowest team batting average in the majors right now. These guys are hitting just .215 as a club. And they're also averaging only 3.4 runs a game for the entire year. Of course, they're facing Shohei Ohtani here today on the mound, who's got 152 strikeouts, along with an ERA in the twos. Now, the Angels have also won 3 out of their last 5. And that includes a shutout victory over Oakland just yesterday. Now, when it comes to the numbers, 6 out of LA's last 10 ball games fell under the total. Shohei also went 8-2 to the under in his last 10 starts. Meanwhile, the A's on the other side of things, they went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Angels -1.5 and the under 6 and a hook in that very tight window. Next ball game, Yankees Mariners, 10:10 p.m. East. The New York Yankees are the $1.30 favorite on the road, total 7. Garrett Cole for the Pinstripers, Luis Castillo for Seattle. Now, the Mariners have dropped 3 out of their last 5, and their lineup's really not built for a track meet. These guys are hitting just .232 as a team, and in addition to that, they're in the bottom 10 in scoring. Now, they're also facing Garrett Cole on the mound here today for New York, and he's been very tough to hit against this year. Cole's got 170 strikeouts in just 131-plus innings. He's also 9-4 with a 1.04 whip. And even if Cole, for some reason, has a rough outing here today, the Yankees can outscore anyone. They're leading the league in runs per game. They also hit more home runs than any other franchise in baseball. Aaron Judge has a league-best 44 home runs. He's also leading the bigs right now in RBI and OPS. When it comes to the total in this one, 6 out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings fell under the number. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. And as a matter of fact, in those 10 games against each other, the Mariners averaged only 6 hits a game during that time frame. I'm going to lean toward the Yankees -130 and the under 7. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. It is going to be Twins-Dodgers. That's going to be a 10:10 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are -225, totals 8. Julio Urias for Los Angeles, Joe Ryan for Minnesota. And as good as Ryan's been this year, the Twins are playing just .500 baseball on the road. They're also having a tough time facing National League opponents. Out of 15 interleague contests this year, Minnesota got the W only 5 times. Now they're facing Julio Urias, who has 11 wins on the year himself, along with a .257 ERA. Now the lefties also got 109 strikeouts and a .99 whip. And as good as their pitching staff is, the Dodgers have an equally as impressive lineup of hitters. These guys lead the National League in scoring, and they're also leading the entire big leagues in OPS. Freddie Freeman's hitting .324 at the dish. He's 3rd in the bigs in that category. Meanwhile, Mookie Betts is 10th in the majors in homers with 25 of them. And when it comes to the total, the Dodgers did see their last 4 straight Urias starts fall under the line. As a matter of fact, 81% of Julio's starts this year fell under the total. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Twins went 60% to the under in their interleague contest this season. I'm going to lean toward the Dodgers -1.5 and the under 8 runs. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where I went 4-0 in my 4 personal sports bets on that website yesterday. I like the White Sox winning Game 1 outright for some money line cash. Give me Baltimore +1.5, under 8 and a hook. I like Philadelphia -1.5, over 7.5 runs. Give me the Mets -1.5, over 8 and a hook. I like Detroit +1.5, over 7.5 runs. Give me Atlanta -160, over 9.5. I like the White Sox winning Game 2 outright for some money line cash. Give me the Cubbies -1.5, over 7 and a hook. I like Tampa Bay +1.5, under 8. Give me the Rangers plus 1.5, under 8. I like Colorado plus 1.5, over 11. Give me the Giants plus 1.5, under 7.5. Arizona minus 160, over 8.5. Angels minus 1.5, under 6.5 runs. Yankees minus 130, under 7. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that if you want to see which one of these free picks on this video that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to find out, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. I have packages on that site starting at just $1.99. Give me the Dodgers minus 1.5, under 8 runs. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up signing up here today, you're going to get access to that membership every single day all the way through the end of August. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day, you're going to want to sign up for my board member package. It's an all-inclusive membership. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. If that's it, guys, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.